let's talk about intra-workout fuel, especially carbs. That's going to be our focus today. And I'm really hoping that you can't see what all is sitting in my lap right now because I just have a pile of carbs sitting in my lap. So I'm thinking the video is higher. So we're going to just hope for that. Anyway, we're going to be talking about intra-workout carbs today because that's what your body prefers when you are in the middle of a run or hike. And we want to provide the body fuel. So without further ado, hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the personal trainer and running coach at Kathletics. Here at Kathletics, we're all about meeting you where you are in your fitness so you can approach hybrid training in a sustainable way. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some carbs. When you are running for a duration of time, you're going to want to have some type of fuel on your body. This also includes hydration, but today we're not going to focus on hydration or electrolytes. We're going to focus on the carb portion. So for carbs, you want to be consuming them early and often is what I like to say, because you want to make sure that you're feeding your energy stores so you're not just constantly draining your battery until you feel like you're hungry and then trying to come back up by eating a little bit. Once you've already depleted your stores and you're feeling that bonk or that really uncomfortable feeling when you're like, I literally cannot go on right now, that is when it's really too late to try to, of course, like eat, but you're already past the point of having those energy stores filled. So we want to make sure that we are fueling early and often. I typically like to recommend eating between every 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the person, depending on your pace, and depending on how you process your energy. I really want to make sure you understand that although there's going to be noise that says you don't need to eat until your run is over 90 minutes, you can eat whenever you want, especially if your last meal was, say, 2 to 3 hours ago, just based on your time constraints and what you had available. You will probably need to eat a little bit earlier if you weren't able to get a snack in prior to your run. So you may want to start having that snack at 30 minutes and make sure that you're getting those carbs in so you feel good throughout the rest of your run, even if your run is only an hour long. Only. Big quotations on that one. So we want to make sure that we are fueling early and often so we can feel good, and then you can also have better recovery that way too, because you're going to be setting yourself up for success not only through the run, but also you're already ahead or already meeting the expectations of what you need after your run. So these are my go-to carb sources that I like to consume while I'm on the trail. Now, I don't need anybody in the comments below saying, well, you don't eat anything that is healthy and you don't eat whole foods. Okay, let's breathe and maybe roll it back a little bit. What you eat on the trail is needed to be easily digestible carbs. You can definitely do that with whole foods. You can do like dried fruit and things like that, but ultimately you just need some quick sugar, and whether that sugar is coming from an apple or coming from fruit snacks, they're both serving the same purpose. What I would recommend is if you are having non-whole foods like I do on the trail, is make sure that the rest of your day-to-day diet is primarily whole foods and that you're getting a well-balanced diet outside of your time on the trail. So without further ado, these are the carb sources that I like to eat on the trail. So first things first, Black Forest. Ultimately, I just get these from Costco and they're super cheap. I usually will slam 2 of these as like 2 as 1, just because gummy bears are awesome. That was aggressive. You can also substitute that with Sour Patch Kids or whatever other gummies that you like. I even pulled some Cliff Blocks. This is actually my least favorite flavor, but we don't have any other ones. Want. So you can definitely use something similar. Any type of gummy will work, but they're really nice because it doesn't take a lot of hands in order to consume them, and you can also consume them while you're running. Next thing is a Pop-Tart. So I'll often split this into like 1 or 1.5, depending on how many carbs that I'm trying to consume in an hour. And brown sugar cinnamon, you just can't go wrong. They're pretty much straight up carbs. They're delicious, if you will. And I really enjoy them. And hopefully you enjoy them too. I also noticed I don't have any Stroop waffles, but that's also something that you can snack on that I feel like is kind of similar to a Pop-Tart. Consider that another really easy source of carbs. It's small, it's compact. You can just eat it while you're running as well because you only need one hand. Also really good source. I'm not going to throw these because I don't want it to break. They break every single time in my vest, and I don't need to do that before I go for a run. And then the last ones that I grabbed, I'll still talk about a few other ones, but these are just what I had on hand. So gels. I honestly am not a big fan of gels. It just like feels like I'm putting toothpaste in my mouth that's flavored halfway better. But they do come in handy. And if you do have these, make sure you're slurping it down with some water, because that is extra important in order for you to digest it. Because otherwise, again, it just feels like you have toothpaste just sitting in your gut. And if you're watching this video, you are not 2 years old and just squirting toothpaste into your mouth. So I don't recommend that. But you will want to look at what the gel provides. So, like, for example, this Roctane one by Goo, it doesn't have caffeine, and it does have sodium and amino acids if that's something that's important to you. They also have ones that do have caffeine in them if you enjoy that or if you want that. Yeah, these are just some of the flavors that I usually go for in the rotation. So acai pomegranate, strawberry banana, and the strawberry kiwi. Other things that you could consider that I personally don't use as intra-workout fuel, but other people do, would be like potato chips or pretzels. Some people like to make or have fruit, which I had mentioned earlier. If that's something that you're interested in, by having more whole foods, it'd be fruit, dates, things like that. There are tons of options. If you download my free fueling guide, I also have other suggestions there. I'll link that in the description below so you have access to that if you're looking for a free fueling guide for the trails, if you're either a trail runner or a hiker. Otherwise, I would love to hear what your favorite intra-workout snack is in the comments below, so please do that. Otherwise, be sure to like, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.